I've just met you and you're putting your thumbs in my eyes.
What's the worry here, Nick? You've lost some of your talent as an actor?
No.
Nick, I cannot thank you enough for this movie. My face was honestly hurting from smiling and laughing so much.
Great. I'm very happy to hear that. Did you see it with a live audience?
I did, and everyone was howling the whole way through. It was brilliant. You and Nick are the duo I didn't know I desperately needed.
Thank you so much. That's so wonderful to hear. I can't tell you.
You're obviously a hero to so many, and people feel like they really know you from your movies. Was there a moment, like early on in your career, when you realized, oh, people now know me and going out in public won't be the same?
You know, I've been doing this since I was 15, and that makes me something of a child actor. And I've actually been on camera more in my life than off camera, if you don't include sleep. And it's become kind of a blur. I don't really know when I realized that my life would be a public life ad infinitum. So I wouldn't know how to answer that.
I mean, it must be such a trip playing yourself, though. If you could play any of the characters in your career for the rest of your life, who would you play?
Well, I mean, I'd want to be content. I'd want to be happy if I had to do that for the rest of my life. So I was pretty happy when I was making Honeymoon in Vegas. I think my character's name was Jack Singer. I don't know.
You're skydiving?
We're the Flying Elvis' Utah chapter. Roy Bacon, director, at your service.
Listen, if you could just drop me.
I had a great time on that movie in Hawaii, in Las Vegas, with Sarah Jessica and with Andrew Bergman, and we all had a terrific time. So I guess that character, but all my characters are my children. All my characters I infuse with the same amount of heart and the same amount of thought, and so they're all my babies. I take it that seriously.
Well, you do an incredible job every time.
God, this place is stunning.
What is your favorite movie?
That's one of those questions that's impossible to answer.
You can't just limit it to one.
Happy's basically a Nick Cage expert and can quote all of his movies. Which of Nick's movies would you love to be spliced into to experience?
There's so many of them. There's so many. I would love to be spliced into Raising Arizona.
We're gonna go pick up Daddy.
I've been taking these Huggies and whatever cash you got.
I would love to be in Peggy Sue Got Married.
I told my friends that we would never part.
Wild at Heart.
Treat me like a fool.
Adaptation.
I've got to stop sweating. Oh, she looked at my hairline.
And the list just goes on and on.
This would be a great sequel, just you and Nick's movies.
Wouldn't it? Exactly. There you go. You just shoot me into all of these, we just get the rights from all these different studios of his movies and put me in them.
The guy that owns this house, what's his name?
Javi. Mr. Cage.
Excuse me, is Javi going to want me to,
I'm not sure I understand.
Look, it's Javi.
I am Javi.
Nick Cage.
We see how much Nick means to Javi. Which other actor in the industry has made you feel a similar way and maybe left you really starstruck?
There are so many actors. I grew up watching movies, and to work with Nicolas Cage alongside some other ones, I've gotten to work with Matt Damon. I've gotten to work with Denzel Washington, Colin Firth, and in these instances, there's a lot of starstruck that I need to get past. I guess coming to these features a little late in the game for me. Their influence is just so big on my life that I always kind of have to, there's this little starstruck hurdle that I need to get past, but then they're such good scene partners and such good actors that they anchor you to the work, and I've been really lucky.
And Javi's basically a Nick Cage expert. He's a diehard fan. What's the most memorable fan encounter you've had, or the strangest request from a fan?
Well, I have great experience with people. See, I'll talk with anybody, not unlike the character in the movie. I'll talk with anybody about movies. I'm a genuine film enthusiast, and I'll take recommendations from anybody as to what I might enjoy seeing. And I've had some wonderful, poignant experiences. Well, just last night I met a woman in the bar, and she was talking about City of Angels. That's not a movie I hear very often, but it's a darn good movie. And she was talking about a very sad and you know, I don't want to label it, but tragic experience of her daughter passed on in a car accident, not unlike Meg Ryan's character in the movie, and that the movie itself came out the very same year, and she would watch the movie and that helped in some way, and then the song would come on, and Uninvited by Alanis Morissette, and that reminded her of her child, which is quite heartfelt and quite touching. I'm getting a little verklempt thinking about it right now. I would say that was a pretty good one.
Is it too much? Is this supposed to be me? It's grotesque. I'll give you 20,000 for it.
The Nick Cage shrine in this is really impressive. What's the most surreal thing you've seen your own face on before?
I guess the first time I saw like a Funko Pop version of myself. There was maybe a Funko Pop Oberyn Martell. That was surreal.
Do you ever get used to it, even now, just seeing your face like pop up, even like on buses or like t-shirts?
I don't get used to it, and I actually am often working and like out of the country, and I get kind of like, you know, want to like give me some time to walk around New York and maybe see if a poster pops up with my face on it, because I like to soak that stuff in.
Are those my golden guns?
They're my golden guns.
I don't want to kill you.
You're the last person I want to kill.
I love you. I love you.
Hubby's desperate to create a movie with Nick. What's the fastest yes you've said to a role in your career?
All of them. This one.
I mean, this is insane.
Yeah, it is insane. But there's I've said yes before I get the job, and it's usually waiting for them to say yes.
I mean, what's the best thing you learned about Nick whilst working on this?
I think what I learned more than anything, and none of it comes as any surprise. He's a very curious and thoughtful person, and he's very kind of astute in seeing you and judging your character. I remember very early into the shooting process with him, he said, "You're the 8-year-old who wants to press all the buttons in the elevator," and I was like, oh. I felt so naked. I felt so seen, you know, because he nailed it.
I could just watch you guys for hours. The whole idea of Nick playing himself is just genius. If you could play one of the characters from your career for the rest of your life, who would you choose to play?
I wish I could look as good for the rest of my life as Oberyn Martell looked in Michelle Clapton's costumes and that comfortable robe. Yeah, I guess I'd have to pick him just for the style.
Forgive me for staring. I don't see many Lannisters.
Just ageless, like just stay right.
Exactly.
We could have died!
Hubby requests to fly Nick over for basically a big holiday. What's the strangest request you've had from a fan, or maybe the most surreal experience?
I guess early on, for me, and we're talking about Game of Thrones quite a bit in this interview, but I remember people on the street asking if they could take pictures with me by sticking their thumbs into my eyes. They wanted to crush my face, and for the picture, and you know, we're talking to strangers on the streets of New York, and that was a little weird. It's like, oh, I've just met you, and you're putting your thumbs in my eyes.
If anyone's watching this, do not crush Pedro's eyes.
Yes, please. Let me keep my head.
Thank you so much for talking to me, and huge congrats on the movie. It's absolutely brilliant.
Thanks, Olivia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you too. Bye.
Bye.
Hits Radio.